Hello, and welcome to InfoWordz, my new YouTube channel where I will be going over words, definitions, and coming up with information about these words, basically putting them in sentences so that we can log them in our brains and use them in regular conversation. Much like you do from time to time when you do learn a new word. And you're able to really grasp the meaning of this word, and you're able to actually use it from time to time in conversations. And as you get older through life, you actually start to use this word a lot. I mean, it was a vocabulary word at one point in your previous years, your youth maybe, or maybe when you just reached adulthood, you learn a new word. But you actually use the word a lot. It's a really good word for you to know. And that's the objective of this channel. It's actually something for me too, because a lot of words I don't know, and I want to I want to learn and be able to use, so I can more effectively articulate my ideas when I'm speaking with somebody, when I'm having a debate, when I'm talking intellectually, and also when I'm reading or when I'm having a conversation with somebody or watching something and I hear a vocabulary word that ordinarily I would not know, but since I engage in this study, I am able to comprehend more of the content that enters into my life. And also, this is going to really kind of like, I don't know, I want to make it a very, you know, like I want to achieve great progress through this, social progress, um, that I can help everybody become more enlightened through the process of learning more about language itself and therefore the world, how we define things, the things that we know, we actually give words to, and then, so it's really going to be doing a lot. I'll start with this first word, although I'm going to redo this first word because this is actually the first video that I'm doing for this. I've thought about this for a long time, and I'm taking it full force. And I am the originator, so all other copycats do not exist in my world because I'm the original. Now, I am getting these words from dictionary.com, so I'd like to give them appropriate credit where credit's due, and their definitions, I don't know where they get the definitions. I guess they get them from somewhere. And that's it, really. I'm going to be going in and reading the word, which sometimes I don't even know how to pronounce it. So I'm going to be reading the definition. They have a couple of examples, like example sentences, which I could read, but I really kind of wanted to be making up my own example sentences and using them just rapid fire frequently. You'll see how I do it. And also on dictionary.com, in the word of the days, they have origins for these. And although it does provide some interesting content at times, I want to be careful with how much I read them. I don't want to bore my viewers, but I think overall they are, the origin definition does have some value to it and to give people a backstory to the word. They don't. There's not much else. There's definitions, so a lot of these words may have one or two or three definitions, maybe more. But even at that, sometimes one of the definitions is going to be obsolete, or it's going to be what they title archaic, or a word may take on, um, it may actually be a noun and a verb depending on how you use it. So, with that, also, these words in general can be modified a lot. So you could have a word like modify, and it could be modification, modifying, a modified, modifier, um, modifiable. You can have all different kinds of words. So I'll kind of try to mention other variations of whatever words I'm reading, but really I'm just going to be reading the actual word that is on the screen, because I don't want to misconstrue information, because even dictionary.com goes through a lot of effort to make sure that people clearly understand the definitions of words, and they even have like a series of like words that are commonly confused. But anyways, so that's all. Now today is March 24th, 2017. The word of the day is esoterica. So it's a plural noun, and it means things understood by or meant for a select few. And then it says recondite matters or items. So I don't even know what recondite is. So that'll be a word I'm going to cover in the future. And then it has another definition here, curiosa. Which I don't know what that word means. So I'm going to do that in the future as well. But here we go. We're already jumping into the InfoWordz. At the G20, he was in his element, an instinctively global leader wading through esoterica that most people couldn't grasp, taking charge by dint of his superior knowledge. That's from Why Gordon Brown Struggles So Mightily. An article, I guess, out of Newsweek, June 11th, 2009. Second example they have is when Dan Brown unleashed the Da Vinci Code in 2003, he was simply bringing this obsession with esoterica into the mainstream. Francis Stoner Saunders of the Leonardo da Vinci, The Myth and the Man. That is, I guess, an article out of The Guardian, 10/21/2011, October 21st, 2011. So, esoterica. So, things understood by or meant for a select few. Recondite matters or items. So, I think I understand what recondite means. It's basically a synonym for esoteric, maybe? So I guess this is going to be like esoterica is... So esoterica is the basically things understood by or meant for a select few. So things in this matter is going to be what is esoterica. So I'm going to substitute ideas with things. Okay, so ideas understood by or meant for a select few. Now that could be concepts. That could be... So this esoterica is ideas, concepts, ideologies, interworkings, even historical facts that is understood by or meant for a select few. Only a select few get access to the esoterica. The esoterica is what will... The esoterica of the elites is what suppresses the masses. The esoterica of the people at the top are manipulating the system so much so that it is causing great confusion amongst even scholars, even students of that are desperate to understand the way the world works. This esoterica is so at such a premium. It's so rare. It's so, sought after. It's so, elusive that it's confusing everybody, especially in this moment of fake news. Which, by the way, I like to say fake news is not just fake news. It's misconstrued information. It's convoluted context. It's diluted truths. Okay, it is alternative facts. I mean, alternative facts is totally different, because alternative facts is something that you're actually saying is true, and it's alternative. It's different from what somebody else says is true. So I'm claiming facts and you're claiming facts. Your facts are the alternative facts. My facts are the alternative facts to your facts, because I got the real facts. Now, anyways, that's the truth beneath all those facts. That is the esoterica. Okay, if you get my drift, that we got these media outlets that are really pushing both sides of the spectrum over here, and what they don't what neither of them tell anybody is the esoterica. Okay, now that esoterica is so secretive. It is so locked up that this esoterica is just, even if you really wanted to know about it, you're not going to be able to. Even if you, well, I mean, I might challenge that. I might say there's a way that we can break through to find out what the esoterica is. But the esoterica is concealed on purpose. It is meant for a select few. And it is only understood by the select few because by a different select few. So basically, if it's a secret, okay, then that means that it won't be accessible to anybody except by perhaps somebody who reveals the secret, or if it gets exposed by another way, maybe through an investigation or something. But so that would be things that are meant for a select few. That's a secret. So esoterica isn't necessarily that, because there can be a select few, and by few you're talking like, I mean, in a general sense, I'm really talking about probably millions of people, because that's just a few in comparison to the whole world, which is at right now 8 billion plus. So, but it's understood by a few people as well, because most of the masses are dumbed down and they don't know. They don't know things. They don't know reality. They don't know life. They don't know history. They don't know the dynamics of the world. They don't know religions and cultures and people. They don't know what's going on. So this esoterica is things that are understood by few, and it's only meant to be understood by a select few. Okay, so if you're one of the privileged, then you're one of the persons who has an education and it has the capability to understand the esoterica, and then you're actually in a certain sense, I guess at a higher level of the esoterica knowledge base, there's going to be a select few, a privileged few, an invited few that are permitted to gain knowledge about the esoterica. And so the esoterica is just kind of like, I mean, you could look at it like on a lower scale instead of the global scale. You could look at it on a lower scale. You could look at it in your religion, right? Well, and you can determine what might be the esoterica of your religion. Okay, and I challenge you to know that, and I challenge you to bring that out to the rest of the world, because I think religions are interesting, and I want to know more about all of them. But also, if like you are in a religion, and like let's say you go to some type of religious place, a congregation of sorts, and you congregate with other members, these other members, maybe some of them, maybe there's an esoterica that exists amongst that group, and it's only things that are understood by a select few, or it's only meant to be understood by a select few. So that esoterica could exist in your local religion, your local congregation. It could be in your school, maybe. You're in some school. I mean, if you think about it, majors in colleges are kind of like their own esoterica, because if you're in the accounting major, then the esoterica is accounting, while the rest of your school is not privileged and not meant to know anything about accounting. So, and it could also be happening at your work. Like, let's say your employer, your employer is obviously going to be a bigger entity than you in most cases. And your employer is like, let's say it's a business, and it has different ventures, that it's different products or services or whatever that it's trying to do, and maybe there's an esoterica that exists within that organization, that it's not this information is not going to be given to everyday employees. There's no need for it, or there might not be a calling for it, or maybe it would bring the company down if they did. So the esoterica is something that is understood by a select few, and it's things that are meant for a select few. So I hope you have come to a better understanding about the word esoterica, and that you're able to use it in your life. So that is where that's what I'm talking about tonight. So hope you liked it, man. Peace. Like, subscribe, comment, share. Let me know if you have any other information about esoterica, the noun derived from the Greek adjective esoterikos, belonging to the initiative, inner, and esoteric. Esoterikos has a distinguished history in ancient Greek philosophical systems: Pythagorean, Aristotelian, Stoic. Esoterica, if not coined by Ogden Nash, who lived from 1902 to 1971, was popularized by him in a poem of his published in The New Yorker in 1930. The poem contains the line, "The postal authorities of the United States of America frown on curiosa, erotica, and esoterica, and I guess that's a break for the American Railway Express," referring to the notorious obscenity trials over James Joyce's Ulysses that had been going on since 1922 and were finally settled in 1933. So there we go. There we have it. That guy was 20 years old once the James Joyce's Ulysses trials were started in 1922, and he was basically 31 when they stopped. So that's when he published his thing in 1930 in the New Yorker, his poem. But anyways, that's the Esoterica. So it's a Greek term from esoterikos. So don't be an esoterica. And you should be seeking to find out all the esoterica you can.